In this video, we're going to break down an appeal play that happened in a New Jersey high school baseball game, and we'll specifically focus on the umpire's mechanics to talk about how they handled the situation and what the crew could have possibly done differently, especially focusing on the mechanics by our base umpire. So to start, in this situation, we have runners on first and second with 2 outs. The batting team is down 3 runs, and it's the last inning. So to begin this breakdown, let's review the home run mechanics in this situation. With runners on first and second, our base umpire, and this does appear to be a crew of 2, our base umpire here is in the C position with all balls, trouble, and routine in what's called the V. That's any fly ball between the left fielder and the right fielder. Now, an advanced mechanic here that this umpire isn't aware of, but that you would be aware of if you worked at usually at the college or the professional level. An advanced mechanic is shading the side of the field that the ball is hit to. So in this scenario, we start in the C position, but what's our first responsibility here? It's fair foul, catch no catch, everything else. And any ball that has the potential to go out of play, like a home run, is a trouble ball. So our base umpire here should be working across the working area, getting towards the grass dirt cutout. By getting across this area, that's the most distance we can possibly gain on this play to try and get an accurate call if it does end up being a trouble ball and one that's really close. So once we get past the home run, then we need to talk about touch responsibilities. Remember that our base umpire will always have all touches of first and second, while the plate umpire will have all touches of third and home, with the only exception being that the base umpire will have the touch of third by the batter runner. Now in this video, you'll see that our base umpire does not do a good job at seeing all the touches that he's responsible for seeing. Now what I'd like to see, and that you'll see at higher levels, is that the base umpire will actually get almost all the way to the third base cutout for the touch of third by the batter runner. This goes back to showing that you're paying attention, you're hustling on the field, and you're seeing all your responsibilities, which once the ball's out for a home run, the number one responsibility, and really the only responsibility, is seeing all the touches. But thankfully, our plate umpire is paying attention and does a good job to see that the first runner, R2, actually misses the plate. Now, as you all know, and I'm not going to break it down here, all the runners, including the batter runner, have to touch all of the bases they're awarded in order, even on a home run with a dead ball. And if the offensive team fails to do so, it's not an immediate out called by the umpire. Instead, it's on the defense to appeal that all the bases were not touched properly. Fun fact, it did actually used to be the rule in NFHS baseball that when the umpires noticed a missed base, they were actually supposed to call it an immediate out. But that rule was a long time ago, and now we've gone to just simply using an appeal system. So now let's look at how the defensive team makes this appeal. Remember, it's a dead ball as soon as the ball went out of play on the home run. So we don't need to call time again, really at any point. The plate umpire here does give time for the coach to go out for a mound visit, which is fine. It's a good idea to at least give the signal so that everybody knows we're having a defensive conference. And the coach probably doesn't even know what the rule is anyways, so giving that to him shows him that he can go out on the field to have this conference. But remember, we've already got a dead ball. And in high school baseball, you can have a live ball appeal, just like you can at pro and collegiate levels, but you can also have a dead ball appeal. Now, I won't do a full breakdown of that in this video, but we did a video on it just about a year ago, and I'll link that in the video description. But the basics of a dead ball appeal are this. Once all runners, including the batter runner, have finished their legal advance of the bases they were awarded, then the defense can appeal simply by having the coach or a defensive player appeal to the umpire that there was a missed bag. That appeal doesn't require the ball being thrown anywhere. It doesn't have any real theatrics to it. It's simply asking the umpire, I thought R2 missed the plate. Did R2 miss the plate? And in this scenario, the correct answer that the plate umpire gives is that he did not touch the plate and he's out. And one quick thing I want to note for all of you is that because it was R2 that missed, no runs behind him are going to score because his appeal was the third out. In a scenario like this, where a runner misses the base for the third out, no following runners can legally score. It's also worth noting that let's say after R2 misses and then R1 comes and touches the plate, if R2 then goes back to touch the plate, that touch is not going to count because once a following runner touches, a previous runner can't go back and fix a mistake. So at that point, we're pretty much open to whether or not the defense is going to appeal. And to clear up the confusion on mechanics here, let's break it down real quick how we should handle it as the plate umpire. Note that the ball is still dead. We've not put the ball in play at any point. And we certainly can't put a ball in play when the defensive coach is standing 10 feet from the foul line on the field. We can't have that. He's got to be off the field before the ball would be put in play. That said, they're looking to appeal here. And as the plate umpire, you don't need to make him go off the field, then put the ball in play and do all that. If he comes out and he's showing you that he wants to appeal and he's asking he wants to appeal or trying to give his players instructions on how to appeal, you can give him a little idea here like, hey, are you appealing a missed bag? And if so, what are you appealing? And if he then says, well, I want to appeal that R2 missed the plate, that's an appeal right there. That's all you need to have happen here. There's no reason to put your mask on. You don't need to put the ball in play, which does not happen here anyways. He does not put the ball in play. It's simply just get the coach to ask or tell you what he wants to appeal and then execute the call from there. And actually going back, so after the home run, we have the defensive conference, and it looks like that's when the catcher tells his coach that the guy missed the plate. If the catcher had walked back to the plate umpire after that conference and simply said, hey, Blue, we're going to appeal that the runner missed the plate, all you have to do as the umpire then is just say, which runner are you appealing missed the plate? And then when he says it was the runner from second, at that moment, you've got a legal appeal right there. We don't need to do anything else beyond that point. Once the catcher asks you, did R2 miss the plate? As long as it's a dead ball, that's a verbal appeal. And at that moment, that's when you can call the runner out. Now, let's get to the fun part of this video. The plate umpire, who makes a great and very bold and impressive call here, gets the out. And with that, that's the end of the game. The game ends 0-3. And there's really no reason for the umpires to stay on the field. But for the plate umpire, especially in this scenario, after you make that call to end the game, he does a good job going to the coach of the offensive team to explain what his call was and give him a brief, quick second to explain it. That's exactly what you should do, right? It's a big call. It's ending the game. You do owe the coach at least a slight explanation. Now, you don't need to get in a big argument about it. And this is where you're really just waiting for your partners to come in, get your crew together, and then leave the field together. And this is where we run into issues with our base umpire and pretty much everything he does in this scenario moving forward. First of all, as soon as your partner makes that call to end the game, you should be sprinting into your partner because exactly what you think is probably going to happen is what happens here. The offensive team is going to lose their minds, and a bunch of people are going to want to come argue with the plate umpire. And even if this wasn't a controversial call to end the game, simply put, anytime a game ends, as soon as that game ends, the entire crew, whether you're in a crew of 2, 3, or 4, you should be beelining it off of the field. There's no time to stand here and just watch. You need to beeline it off the field, and we leave the field as a crew, especially after a big call like this. So immediately when it happens, you should be sprinting in, getting to your partner, and if your partner wants to talk to the head coach for a little bit about this call, that's fine. You need to make sure it's just the head coach talking to the calling umpire and get everyone else away from that. But even then after that, you should be pretty much ending the conversation, right? So give him a second to explain the call. But if the coach starts to go back and forth with him, simply take your partner and get him off of the field. There's no reason to stay on the field any longer. But that's how our base umpire here really could have made this situation go a lot better. So our lesson here for the base umpire is at the end of the game, first thing, we're always quickly out the field, regardless of what happened. But anytime there's a big call like this, and even if this was a big call that didn't end the game, let's say it just ended the 6th inning, then we still need to come in quickly and allow our partner to have a quick conversation with the coach of the offensive team and keep other coaches and players away from that conversation. But also in a playoff game where we're trying not to have any ejections, be prepared to get in the way of the offensive coach and to take him back to his dugout and allow your plate umpire to get away from the situation. So overall, I'd say this is an A+ job by the plate umpire. It's a big call in a really big moment of the game, and ultimately he handles it well, and he makes the call that he needs to make. For a base umpire, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement, starting from just once the ball is hit all the way through the end of the video. But hey, take this as a learning experience and keep advancing in your umpiring abilities. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is a great call by the plate umpire. It's a really bold call, and it takes a lot to make that call in that situation. And for the rest of us, we need to make sure that we're able to make those ballsy calls as well. And the best way to do that in your game is to wear the right protective equipment behind the plate. And the place that I go to get my equipment that you should go to get yours is Diamond MMA. They make high-performance athletic cups as well as compression shorts and jock straps. All the things you need to make sure that you're keeping the boys safe and that when the big moment comes up, they're ready to make the call. So be sure to use the link in the video description to get your discount at their website, diamondmma.com. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the field. Yes, that very much is how we just did our first ad read on Umpire Classroom. Just like that.